So in this video, I'm going to show you something that I learned in Clay. It's how to verify email addresses without using Clay credits. As you know, and I know, Clay credits pretty expensive. The very first time that I signed up for Clay, I blew through like I chose the $150 plan and I blew through all the credits in like 30 minutes. So I found another method that you can use, everybody can use to use a third party to verify those email addresses. And so I just got finished running a couple of campaigns, and so I used this process to verify the email addresses. And I'm just going to try to see if in here we can see if it shows us how many of these were actually like out of 1,000 emails, how many were bounced back. So using this method, sent out 1,000 emails and got basically 4 bounces back. So pretty good method. And same thing over here. So I'm just finishing up another campaign here using mini reach. And same thing with this one, just trying to see if it shows us, okay, bounced 2. And so it sent 2,000 and it bounced 2. So this method I'm going to show you works pretty fucking good. All right, so we're going to go to Clay, go to find people. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find, just so that I can kind of narrow the results so the results aren't going to be like insane. Just going to do C class basically. And again, so that I don't have like a, thousands of results here, what I'm going to do is just choose a small like city here in the Kansas City area. And there we go. We'll just choose Overland Park. And also, I only want to target law firms. So just to narrow that down a little bit more. Okay, so basically it found about 40. That's perfect. We'll just hit continue. And we can close this out. Don't need it. So one thing I do want to let you know is that you do have to have the $350 a month plan to do this. So I signed up for that and I haven't even used any of my credits. So I'm just going to let them roll over, I guess. So here's how we start. All right, so we got our list. Perfect. So right below this video, I'm going to leave all of this so that you'll be able to just copy and paste this stuff. All right, so right here, what we're going to do is we're just going to begin the process to start creating some custom formulas, and we're going to use an enrichment technique that it uses a third party. So we're just going to choose add column, and we're going to choose formula, and I'm going to paste that in there. So whenever it pastes in here, it doesn't paste in here correctly. So no worries. All you have to do is this. You see these slashes right here? This is going to indicate to this form right here that you're trying to actually select something. So all I'm going to do right here, just highlight that, and I'm just going to type this over /company, so company domain. And you see how it popped that box? You got to have that. If you don't see that, it's not going to work. Same thing here. First name, and then we're almost done. Here's one right here, last name. And just to make sure I highlight the whole thing. And I'll explain to you what all this means here in just a second. So same thing on this last one, company domain. So what this formula says is that if the company domain exists, so a lot of these that you're going to scrape might not have the company like domain like at whatever.com. And if you don't have that in there, this thing is going to just waste credits. So if the company domain exists, then output firstname.lastname at company domain. And so also I've told it to make all of the stuff lowercase, and if it finds any special characters, commas, weird stuff, don't do it. So formulate or generate formula. And so just going to double check it. The output right here, that looks good to me. That's correct. All right, awesome. So we have this in here. So these email addresses are not valid though. Those are just what we just use to output. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to add enrichment. And so at this point, I do need to let you know that you are going to have this service right here. And so that's the name of it. And when I look at it, I just call it Raccoon. So you need the Raccoon email verifier. So the way I bought it was here. So $80. They give you a code, come back to this website, enter the code, you get 500 daily credits, and then they give you like 100,000 credits. So as you can see, I've already blown through like 75,000 of those just verifying stuff. And so also I get an extra 50. So they're going to send you an email after a week or two after you've like signed up, and they're going to ask you to leave them a review. If you leave them a positive review, they'll give you an extra 50 per day. So do that. All right, so back to Clay. All right, so what we're going to do is here in the actions. So again, I'm just going to back up just so that, all right, so right here, add column, we're just going to choose add enrichment. And right here, we're going to type in HTTP API. So this is going to allow us to call that third-party website. So right here under browse templates. So in here, we're going to do a search for that service. So this is the service right here. So the email verification. So as soon as you click on that, what it's going to ask you is for you to enter your API key, the one that website is going to give you. So I've already done that and I've saved it so that it's easy for me to get back to. So I'm just going to choose this option right here. So now it's going to ask me, so what column do I want to be able to run this scan on? And that's going to be this generated email list. So I'm going to hit that right there and then choose save and then run. All right, I'm just going to, so, and generated email, I got that. That's the title of this right here, generated email. So we're going to give it just a minute. So anytime that you see status 200, it means that it has successfully ran a scan. So we don't see anything yet. No worries. All you got to do is click right here where it says status and then come right down here to status, invalid. It'll say valid, safe. So we're just going to click on add column and we're going to name this one status number 1 and then create column. And then once that's done, it'll show us if any of these are valid or unknown or catch all. So it looks like all of those are invalid. So pretty much none of these email addresses exist. Okay, no worries. So I do want to give you this heads up right here. So this is normally what I do. Every time that I create this status, I always refresh, no matter what. Because what happens is if you continue on with the commands, this next command that's right here, so command number 2, this status number 1, like I don't know why, but their website just doesn't refresh itself. So whenever you're trying to run this formula, it's not going to find status 1 because you just created it. So no worries, just refresh the page. Anytime you get into like an issue or some kind of a weirdness, one of these commands doesn't work, refresh the page. All right, so we're just going to go to formula. We're going to type this second one in. Same thing as before. We have to come in every time you see a slash, you have to act on it. And so status number 1, which we just literally created. And so what this one is saying is that if that first one did, so basically what this command is going to say is that if status number 1 is safe, then output the first name dot last name. And then we know that this column is good email addresses. So the thing is that just kind of doing a scan down that list, it looked like all of them showed invalid, but no worries. We're going to run this anyways because we want to do this every single time. We want to go through this list of commands. Because the thing is that you're probably going to be doing like hundreds or thousands of email addresses at a time. So you're going to find some safe ones. All right, just give it a minute to do that. Okay, so it did not find anything. No worries. Whatever. All right, so we're just going to keep it moving. All right, so now that that's done, we're going to do our third command. And what this is going to say is that, and we're just going to go to formula. And what this is going to say is that if that first like scan that we ran, if the status is invalid or unknown, odds are probably then their email address is going to be firstname@domain name. And so this is the command that helps you get to that. So it's going to do this here. Company domain. And so this one's going to be just a little bit different as we're not looking for firstname.lastname. We're just looking for firstname@company domain. All right, we're going to generate that formula. And so what should happen right here is all right, perfect. So it found that all these statuses were invalid from that previous search. So it's going to go ahead and just output this here. So what I'm going to do right here is because we already have a generated email here, I'm just going to change this one to firstname@domain just so that when we run this next command, we're going to know that this is what we're looking for. So we're going to come in here and we're going to run that scan one more time. And so we're going to go to enrichment and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to call the Reoon service to help us out. And this time what we're going to do is we just created this first name at domain. We're going to apply the template. We're just going to hit save, run, and then we're going to give it just a moment. Okay, so again, status 200 means that it has successfully ran its scan on that email address. And so at this point, what we have to do is we have to we have to tell it that we want to know what the status is. So status right over here, we're going to add a column, and we already have status 1, so this will be status 2. And again, same thing as before. It doesn't, anytime you make that status, somehow, some way, the website doesn't know it exists. So anytime I do a status, I just refresh. So we're just going to keep it moving, move down the list here. And what we're going to do here is say, and always I do if company domain exists. I'm sure that that's kind of a repeat and not needed, but honestly, I don't care because I just want to make sure that the actual domain name really exists. So first name. All right, so this one's saying if the company domain exists, if status 2 is safe, then go ahead and just output their email address, firstname@companydomain.com. And we'll see what that looks like here. And the output is correct. We'll go ahead and save the formula. And so right here, I like to change this to safe email. And so normally over here, it would find something for you. Like if you were running like, say for instance, you ran the scan on like 1,000 or 10,000, you're going to have a bunch of safes in this first. So we'll just name that one safe 1. And then we'll come back over here. We'll just name this one safe 2. Okay, so these email addresses right here are valid. So that's it. So normally what my next step is right here is I normally don't keep going. So I'm going to leave all this in here because there are other email formats, like for example, FirstNameLastName at company domain. And then there's like, other ones, which is like firstname.lastname, some other stuff. I've tried to do all 4 of the scans, and normally the third and the fourth scan don't find very much, but you get charged every time that it runs a scan. So in my opinion, it's just really not even worth doing that. So normally I just do the first and the second scan, which is, here, let me bring that back up. So it's firstname.lastname at the companydomain.com. And then the second search is just firstname at companydomain.com. So now that I have that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and merge the 2 safe lists. So right here, we're going to do, all right, where is that at? Let's do this safe. All right. Yeah, I forgot. You have to put that slash in there no matter what. So same thing with this, safe, and we'll do 2, and we'll just choose save. And this right here is our final list of valid email addresses. So this list is the combined of safe 1 and safe 2 and outputs a valid email address with all the contact details. And we used 0 Clay credits during this process. And so we only use like, I don't know, maybe the list is how long? So about 80 credits, if you will, on this service right here. And so you get like, 500 a day. I mean, if you just ran, casual searches from time to time, you're probably never going to blow through this 100,000. So when I first started out though, I wanted to get aggressive and build a humongous list. And so I have that. So let me go here to my sender. Yeah, it's actually here in the CRM. And so 11,000 addresses, and all of those are either from Leads Sniper or the clay.com using this method that I just showed you. So that's it. So if you have any questions, I'll say there is one last thing here. So now that you have all of this stuff in here and you have your valid list of email addresses, the next thing is to export this to a basically to an Excel file. And so it's actually been a minute since I've done that. Let me see here. Where's that option at? They changed the website recently. There we go. Yeah, just like within the last week, they've changed it. All right. So now that that's done and we just got our export, there is one last thing that you'll need to do before you bring this into your CRM. And just let me just double check to make sure that that's the correct one here. Let's see. What did it just download? Okay, so it's called Find People. All right, there we go. Okay. So if you were to take this and you were just to import this into your CRM right now, you would have a problem. And the reason being is that in this, you have a bunch of different email columns. So normally what I do is I come in and I delete these. And there's normally 4 that you have to delete. So and let me see if I can find. So yeah, I think I know why. So that one right here, because there was nothing here. Normally there would be something here, and that would be that 4th column that you would get rid of. Okay, perfect. So what this is going to do right here is you're pretty much done. So once you save this, and I'm going to save this, find people table. All right, perfect. So there is one last step that you can do if you'd like, and that is to, let me do this here. All right, so give me just a second. Let me try to find this website. There it is right there. All right, so there is one last thing that you can do if you want to, and that is to, all right, what's up? All right, perfect. So what I'm going to do is now that I've logged into this website, this is also an email verification website. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the process to, sorry, I'm going to do this like off camera here. I think that's the one right there. All right, perfect. So it found 6 email addresses. I'm just going to go ahead and hit start verifying. And then what this website does, and again, you don't have to use this website. This is just something that I normally use also. So of this list, it is showing that it believes that it found 1 bad address. And so here's the truth of the matter. Because I want nice, clean list that I can, count on and rely on and make sure that, I'm not getting a bunch of bounce backs and blowing up my email accounts. I normally do come out and run my list after it's been checked by that Reoon email verifier. I normally run it through the Million verifier also. I know it's double the money, double the credits, all that stuff, but I just want to make sure that these lists that I'm gathering, that they're gonna be a good list for me as the time comes, like when I need it again in 6 months or a year or whatever. I want to make sure that these lists are good. So then all you have to do is just download the good ones. And once that's done, you can then import it into your CRM and you're done. So I've been having pretty good results. So I have like 30 email addresses that I use to send. And, that's probably for a local service provider. So I'm an MSP in the Midwest. And in my eyes, I think 30 email addresses is kind of that sweet spot, so that you're able to get out quite a few emails every day. So there are 28 here, and then over it instantly, let me see if it'll show a count of the email addresses. And so I have blown up a couple of, there's 12 here. So yeah, so it looks like I have 40 email addresses. All right. So that's about how many you're going to need. So you have to warm them up. You probably already know that because I try to get a little bit ahead of the game and let an email address not warm up, and it sent 1 bad email to the wrong email address and it blew it up. So whenever that happens, no worries. Delete the mailbox, recreate it using a new name, let it warm up again. You're back in business. Okay. So anyways, so at the end of the day, does this work? I don't know quite yet, but I think so. So this right here is my first positive yes response to yes, please send me more information. And so the way that I've structured my campaign is at the very end, I am asking them to take an action. I'm not giving them any kind of links to click on my website or any kind of stuff like that. It's if you're even slightly interested in learning more, a quick yes, no, or maybe would mean a lot. And so the only crappy thing about asking them to tell you no is that you're going to see a lot of no's. And some of them are going to be like, kind of rude, whatever. You're in this for the long haul. It's not about the day-to-day no's. It's about that one yes that might change everything for the year, for the month, for the week, whatever it is. Just keep grinding, keep hustling, keep moving, keep it going. So instantly, I don't know what it is, but it kind of seems to me that, instantly has a better open rate. I don't know. Let's come back to here and see if we can go back to the campaigns, because every time I've ran a campaign in the past, so my open rate was 50, 37, and then overall it was 41. So 41% of the messages are getting opened, which means that maybe I'm just maybe I didn't wait enough to warm these email addresses up or not. I don't know why they're not, landing in the actual inbox like they should. They are, but not as good as it looks like with this. I mean, 80%. So I am seeing a better open rate, and it's pretty much the same campaign, honestly, the same wording, all that stuff between the two. So not really sure, but in my eyes, it kind of seems like Instantly AI has a better open rate, so you're more likely to get your message read. But the only thing is that they're more expensive. So I'm on the $350 a year plan, and I can send out, I think, 5,000 messages per month, and I have 1,000 contacts I can upload, which is kind of not very much, because with mini reach I think it was $99, and I can send out 100,000 messages, and the CRM is unlimited. So if you're just starting out, you want to pick just one, I'd go with mini reach. So that's it. Appreciate you hanging out. So MSP in the Midwest, growing a business. Click back through all the other ones. Moved into an office back in April, just trying to grow the business. So picked up 2 clients in the last month or so. But the unfortunate news is I just got a call a couple days ago. One of my other clients sold. So that one's kind of iffy. It's in the air. So just trying to grow the business. I'm using email marketing to do that. And the first time that I used Clay, I didn't know what I was doing. I blew through all those credits. I was discouraged. I was pissed. I was livid. I thought, I'm done. That's it. I'm not doing this. It's just too hard. It's too difficult. Don't even want to jack with it. I'll go back to Google Ads or whatever. But once I found that you don't have to use those Clay credits in order to verify your email addresses, I was like, all right, that's it. Now I can use this. So if you have any questions about this, or if the formula doesn't work for you or whatever, let me know. I'll also link to a blog article that I'll write just to make sure that all of these commands are on the web as well. I won't put it through some kind of crap also where you guys sign up for some kind of crap, or sending a newsletter. It'll just be on the blog. So all right, so that's it for me. I really appreciate you stopping by, watching the video. And in this one, we were just going through the process to use a third-party service to verify email addresses without using Clay credits. So comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.